Kay gandang araw para sa'yo. I wonder what you're wearing right now as you're listening to my TED Talk. Would it be crop tops, t-shirts, or whatever designs that you prefer? Because right now I'm wearing a top inspired by puff sleeves, or at least I like to think it's inspired by the butterfly sleeves that we have. Among the array of your closet, I'm pretty sure you're right at your home right now, listening here to me. And would you mind checking your closet or just imagining it for a bit? What's in there? Some Korean fashion? Some ukay? Or was it from Uniqlo? What brands do you prefer here? But does it have Filipino fashion? Because I for sure have a hard time looking for one. Not even on the streets filled with people. So why is it that we rarely see Filipino fashion aside from special events? So this is why my talk is about for Filipino, an everyday choice. So how do we define fashion? For sure, fashion as defined by almost everyone I ask, or at least by Bell 2024, is a mode of expressing. It is the way we express ourselves through clothing. In fact, fashion shows our authentic selves, our backgrounds, our personalities. I don't know about you, but when I see someone new, I know their personality, or at least I get a glimpse of their personality from how they present themselves. And what better way to present yourself from than what you wear? And that's why Filipino fashion is important. You see, fashion can be a form of art and architecture, while also being a method of embracing and proudly displaying cultural identities. Now, why is it that it's so hard right now, especially with the growing fast fashion and the dying Philippine textile industry? It's not exactly easy to revive something that has been left behind. It is our culture, yet it's no longer our way of living. Maybe our heritage. It's something that is a of every special occasion. What's ironic is that at a very young age, we're already exposed to Filipino fashion, especially kindergarten. Or from the from the young age of kindergarten, you're already wearing Filipinianas, you're already wearing baromas, as required by Bonang Wika. I remember the last time I wore a Filipiniana was back in junior high before the Inabel in our school that required Filipino attire, Filipino traditional attire. And the keyword there is required. It was never a choice. Like I want to wear Filipiniana today. I want to wear Filipiniana to the mall. I don't know. I want to wear it to the park. And why is that? Maybe because it's seen as too formal, too much out of place. It's not for that. It's not for that occasion. So yeah. Or that's not the right use for it. So why is it that we're limiting our traditional clothing with that? In fact, other than Bonawika, we only see them from teachers, movies, or politicians in TV. I was once called Mayora just because I wore a Filipiniana-inspired dress. And it's a dress still. It's formal. It's still somewhere. You only wear once or twice a month. Or, at least in my case, I wear it to church. But how many would wear Filipiniana for that? And as a consequence, Filipino fashion is under the notion of being limited to these events and people. Only for politicians, only for Bonawika, only for special events. Because other than that, I wouldn't wear it. Instead of being a symbol of identity and daily living, we only choose it every once in a while. In fact, we don't choose it or require to wear it. Though as beautiful and unique as it may be. However, another ironic thing is that historically, Filipino traditional attire was a staple in everyday life. Like they wore it every day from all those layers we see. Are you familiar with Maria Clara, the traje de mestizo, or the ternos that we know today? That was an everyday thing, not for a ball, not for a speech, not for graduation or a wedding, a special occasion. It was an everyday choice for them. It was something they just, I want a pink one, they want a blue one today. That was actually a thing back then. And we boast so many, of course fashion doesn't only encompass the Filipinianas or Baratsaya. We also have the different textiles or the different tribes that has their own fashion. We're really rich in culture. We have the Ifugao tapis, the Tinalak, Ebal, the Pinya, Hablon, the Banaka, and the Juicy. We also have Abaka. And they boast such an array, or like they vary in so many ways. So many clothes can be made through them. However, it can be quite expensive at times, which is also one of the reasons why we're having a hard time bringing it back. Speaking of bringing it back, that's not gonna happen. I don't believe it's gonna happen, though I would love it to happen. But remember that the Filipiniana did not stay the same throughout the centuries. It was molded, created for each generation. It was never the same. And while it was an add and subtract for all these decades, it's what helped it reach us, or this time, Now it's still alive, and it can still thrive. It's alive, but it's stagnant, and it can thrive again. It can be an everyday thing for us again if we learn to modernize. Now, when I say modernize, I don't mean like this, because we tend to wear that every day. I would love to wear one for photo shoots, and it's such a playful display of colors. I love the boldness, the vibrance, the patterns of our artistry, but that's not for every day. What I want is Filipino fashion as an everyday choice, something we can wear every day, something casual, something light, something we don't have to worry about too much or not for the occasion. Because every day we choose to bring a piece of the Philippines with us. We wear our culture, and I would love to see the little embroideries in our shirts. I would love to see the patterns of the Philippines, the artistry of the craft of the artisans. Their hands had woven those the textiles that once raged the ASEAN regions. It once dominated the global market. We can do that again. Japan has done it with their kimono, India with their court designs, and us, let's do it with Filipino fashion. One example is this for men. As you can see in my examples, they're not exactly, hold on, it hang. They're not exactly, what do you call, it's not exactly the same as the Filipinianas, as we call it, but I want them to be inspired by it, to carry a little of the Filipino pride we have for each day, not as something as a one-time big time, a piece of our culture every day, even if through little means, through little patches on our shirts, on our tops, our pants. And this is a design we made last semester. These are very artistic friends. Yana and Shaz make these designs, and they reimagined what Filipino fashion could be in modern times. One would be the tudor jacket, the textile pattern, terno, but in modern silhouettes. Because we can no longer erase the modern silhouettes we have nowadays. It's designed for practicality, and it reflects our generation. So what I inspire you to do is to mix it. It's not to mix it, but to incorporate our culture in our designs. What can we do? And I would love to summarize this and what we can do for Filipino fashion. Let's raise awareness and representation. Maybe trends, like TikTokers, influencers, they can make this happen. We can make this happen. Wear one, let them ask where you got it. And maybe just be a representation of what we would love to advocate for. Redefine Filipino fashion for everyday wear. Compete with Western and fast fashion. Improve accessibility and affordability. That's one problem we always think about. It's like, where do we find it and can I afford it? That's at least something to ponder upon. Challenge colonial mentality and promote local pride. We have a rich and beautiful country. Let's not say otherwise. Advocate for industry and government support. Of course, there's no bigger scale than those that are funded by those who run our country. And emphasize sustainability and practicality. Sustainable and practical. This is Filipino fashion. Let's rethink how we wear our culture. Let's make wearing Filipino an everyday choice. Thank you.